INEC and other respondents are expected to finalize their addresses at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Tomorrow will be exactly 10 days the tribunal adjourned after INEC and the respondents closed their case. On the side of the petitioners, the Labour Party and the PDP, they will have about a week to respond to their statements. A lot of people are waiting anxiously to find out what INEC will say in their final address to the court, because of the many objections they raised when the petitioners tried to tender documents that were certified by INEC themselves. Yes, it's very strange that someone will deny a document that he made in court. Now, let's take a peep into how INEC will defend the objections that they made. Defend in the sense that they will now give reasons why they objected. Pinheiro SAN, who is part of the INEC legal team, actually gave a hint in one of his interviews. In that interview, he said that the reason they objected to the tendering of INEC CTCs by the Labour Party was because the documents had nothing to do with where they are contesting the results. In other words, INEC felt that if P2B is contesting the results in some local government areas in a particular state, that it shouldn't tender results of the entire local government areas in the state. Another reason that the INEC Council gave was that Labour Party didn't list some of these states in their petition, that having failed to list the states beforehand, that they cannot turn around and start tendering evidence that represents states that they didn't list in their petition. Anyway, this particular one was covered in one of our videos. The Labour Party listed some states and at the end they wrote others, which means the others can cover the entire states of Nigeria. And they do have the right to demand result sheets from other states of the country because it is a presidential election. This reason can be likened to what the APC were saying after the election, that they will challenge the results in the Southeast geopolitical zone, that the election was rigged in Labour Party's favor. But at the end of the day, when they came to court, they didn't challenge the election in the Southeast. In fact, it was only in Kano that they challenged the results of the election. On the other hand, P2B ended up challenging the results in the Southeast geopolitical zone. Yes, the Labour Party tendered INEC CTCs from Imo State. Many places where INEC officials didn't bother to go on election day, results were eventually written for those places and they were uploaded, especially the local government area of the current governor, Hope Uzodimma. It was covered by many news media, where electoral officers were saying that they came back to submit their forms because elections didn't hold. Let's take a listen.
So that I will exempt myself in case there is any result from that polling unit. I have 12 polling units. No election was conducted in any of them.
Now that we are at the final address stage at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, let's look back and see how INEC conducted themselves during the trial. Number 1. INEC actively prevented the petitioners from proving their case. Why will an independent, neutral electoral commission do this to a political party? If they truly conducted this election free and fair like they claimed, why are they fighting a political party and making it obvious that they are backing another political party? It's not their job to be raising all the defense and objections. A neutral body would have submitted all the results even without subpoena. They would have told the court, hey, look at all the results that we calculated before we declared this person the winner. Please check the results by yourself to see if we did the right thing or we made a mistake. That's what an innocent person would have done, because you can't be claiming that you're innocent and preventing people from proving you otherwise. They say clear conscience fears no accusation. What are people in INEC afraid of? Maybe the answer would be in number 2. INEC seriously withheld evidence. You know what it means in law. If someone is hiding evidence, that means there's something there that he doesn't want you to see. Yes, we all know what they're hiding. All the results they declared in many states, when you look at them, they don't add up. Take Rivers State, for instance. The results that INEC announced are quite different from what is obtainable on their IREV. Even the hard copies that they claim to have used to manually collect the results, it still doesn't add up to the figures that they announced. This same thing happened in many states, it's just that in other states, they used overvoting to cover it up. In many of these states, there were serious overvoting. Of course, Labour Party have succeeded in proving it by tendering the Beavers report that INEC themselves gave them. So as you can see, this is what they are hiding. They know that when these results are tendered in court and the judges go through them, they will agree with the petitioners that truly INEC didn't declare the real results, that they declared rigged and fabricated results. This leads us to number 3. INEC officials disobeyed valid court orders and they dodged subpoenas. In many situations, the petitioners wanted them to bring the documents to court by themselves so that they would just take it from them and tender to court, but they refused. In one instance that they came, they claimed that the documents don't exist. One of the documents that they didn't want to tender to the Labour Party, they themselves eventually brought it to court. Yes, that document was part of their witness statement. In the process of disobeying a valid court order, the INEC officials committed number 4, suppression of evidence. Before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal started sitting, the Labour Party legal team had come to the same court to obtain a court order mandating INEC to allow them to inspect the BVAS machines that were used to conduct the presidential election. INEC disobeyed that order. Instead, they went to court to ask the court to authorize them to back up every information on the BVAS to their back-end server. The reason they gave was that they wanted to use the BVAS machine to conduct the governorship election. Therefore, they needed to wipe every information and back them up in their back-end server. So they suppressed evidence. No one knows if they tampered with the information, even the ones on their back-end server that they ended up giving the Labour Party in form of CTCs. No one truly knows. Looking at everything and how INEC have conducted themselves during the trial, if you are a judge in this matter, how will you judge INEC? By their behavior, it is obvious that they are not innocent. They have shown that they have something to hide, and you will need to dig further to find that thing that they want to hide. Number 2 is that you will find out that they are lawless. They undermine the authority of the courts. When people are lawless, they do not obey court orders. And what will make a civil servant to disobey a court order? It is because the person knows that there will be no consequence, that nothing will happen to him. Look at Adam Awarek, for instance. Despite what he did, no one has brought him to justice. In fact, he turned around and used the same court to stop his trial. Is that possible? So after looking at all this, what will the judges do? Just like how investigations work, they will need to dig further to know what INEC is hiding. They must find answers to all questions, except the ones that they can't answer. But you know how investigations work. At every stage, new questions arise. You have to answer them or solve them before moving on. You will do this until you prove your case. And hopefully the judges will go through the evidence and finally agree with the petitioners that truly INEC performed magic during the election. Another important evidence that the court will use is the EU report. In that report, they will find out how INEC officials intentionally didn't go to many polling units on time. In places where they arrived at midday, many of them didn't come with result sheets to conduct the election. So they used this method of disenfranchisement to suppress the votes in places where the Labour Party candidate is popular. All these strategies they deployed in order to achieve a predetermined figure. Nigerians are watching and hoping that justice will be done so that the people who won an election will truly take back their mandate. Thanks for watching.
Come back to you here.